yesterday. I got the video from Bobby for the new flute that's coming, that's on its way. Like I said, I had no idea. The only thing I knew was basic color of it. That's all I knew about the big bass flute that's coming. 31 inches this flute is. It is a big flute. Okay, a bass flute. And it's the fetish on it is a butterfly, because he saw all my butterflies and he knows it means transformation. And then coming down is got all these beautiful ravens on it, a raven against the full moon and another raven flying, and beautiful ravens and butterflies. So it's great. It sounds great. So that will be sent out Monday. I should have it Wednesday or Thursday latest. And then we'll see what new music comes out of it. But those bass flutes, they are very, 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 very touchy. You know, it's like this, like my bass, like my low C flute. When you are playing, you know, that's why they don't recommend the bigger flutes for if you're just starting out playing, because what happens when you're playing them, you have to be so careful with air management with the low notes. Okay, you would think it would take more air, but it takes way less air, or else you're going to jump that octave with them. So when you're playing, so again, it's I know already going in that the bass flute that's coming is going to be very touchy on that bottom note. So hear how it jumps up that octave? If you blow just a little bit too hard, it's going to jump the octave. Okay, especially the bass flutes. Those bottom notes, you have to really monitor the breath and hold back and just have a consistent, very light breath to sound that note without it jumping the octave. So, yeah, that's why usually when people are starting to play flute, you start with a higher flute, like a G sharp. A lot of people will start like with the Fs, which is a good place to start. The G sharp, now I like this. Now what I talked with Bobby about is the higher note ones. He's making me a few that are going to be high key. So those he's going to do in a nice hardwood. When you do the hardwood, like this is a hardwood that he stained, you get a brighter sound, you get more projection, you get, with the cedars, you get a warmer sound, a more mellow sound. But for the high note ones that he's doing, he's doing the harder note, the harder wood. And with the harder wood and the higher the key is, like this one, this is that little bamboo flute that I got. But the higher keys, you blow harder. It takes much more effort of air to play the smaller flutes. Okay, so it's the opposite of what people think it is. They think if you have the big flute, it's going to take a ton of air. Well, it doesn't. You have to really watch your airflow on the big flutes. The smaller flutes, you kick it up a notch. If you don't give it enough air, you're going to go. the smaller flutes take more air when you get those higher notes. So you have to do a lot more air, sharper tone, like you do the quicker notes, the sharper notes with the smaller flutes. You get more of the bird sounds, more of that, you know, twittering. You want to do not so much the long notes. You're not doing as much of that as you are. So the higher, the quicker birdie type of sounds. And which is the opposite of the low flutes. The low flutes, you're not doing as much as that twittering sound as you are the long extended notes. So the higher you go, the more twittering sounds you do. The lower flutes, the more you're doing the long, low sounds, okay, slow sounds, more meditative type things. And this way, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing now, is doing half the song in the high. Here's the high C, and here's the low C, and the other half of the song in the low C, which takes, if you're doing that music, you have to remember to shift gears very quickly from doing the long, slow notes to the high twittering notes. So it takes a change in your, the way that you are playing, you know, in the midst of the song. But I really like the sound of some of the higher notes in the song, and then go into the lower, slower things. So anyway, that's what Bobby's working on for me now. I've got, like, I don't know, 5 more flutes coming, something like that, 5 more. I think it's around that. I don't know. Bobby knows. He knows better than I do what's what I've got coming. I don't know. He makes them, you know, I ask him what's the price, I send him the money, and that's the way that works. I leave him to do whatever creative thing he's doing. You know, I told him this last time, you know, yeah, you can make it as fancy or as plain as you want. It can be very plain, that's fine too, you know, because I'm mostly concerned with his flutes, with the sound, you know, but not to say I don't enjoy. I love the artwork and the care and the love he puts into them. They're all beautiful, beautiful art pieces, as well as great instruments. But, you know, things like when I'm traveling, I don't want to take, like, my elk, because this is so delicate, his little antlers here. You know, if I try to take him, they could get broken pretty easily. So, you know, some of them are better for traveling for me than others, and I've asked him to make me a few fetishes that are just plain without the beautiful things on them. So this is my very, very first flute. This is the very first flute that I got from Bobby Luffman. I got it through eBay and bid on it and got this flute, and that was my introduction, and from there it's history. You know, from there I just contacted him and started ordering flutes. And have been very, very happy that I found a really good flute maker. So that's this is my very first Bobby Luffman flute, my elk. And the elk, this is an E flat. It's got a wonderful tone. And again, you know, when you're playing these ones, you have to be so conscious of the airflow on these bigger ones, or else you get that break in the notes. Now, I play a lot with, you'll notice a lot of my music, I have a lot of those breaks in the notes. I just happen to like that sound. Okay, some people don't. Some people just play the straight things. Some like to just play that straight thing without that break. And that's what I mean. In this flute particularly, if you go down here, you'll notice it jumps the key. So to get it to drop back down, you really, especially this flute is very touchy on that bottom note, you have to really just almost give it no air. I mean, you really have to hold back to keep it from jumping the octave. Anyway, every flute you have, you're going to notice that it's different. Okay, every flute you have, you're going to notice a difference in it. Each one has its own particular things that it'll do, won't do. Some of them I have will jump the octave really easily. The shamanic flute has got a different thing. Usually you jump the octave and you raise this one finger. You could raise the second. Not on that one. That one I have to do from the top here. So it's just a different, like I said, every flute you have, even if it's from the same, you're used to the flute maker and basically how his flutes are going to work, each one is unique. You gotta figure it out. It's like a separate being, you know. You have to learn that being's proclivities and, you know, its sensitivities. What is its basic what do I want to say? Its basic temperament. Each flute has its own temperament, okay? And that's so what's wonderful about this instrument as well is each flute has its own temperament. Each flute maker has their own thing. So it's a wonderful thing to get into playing the flute. Anyway, so I'm going to leave this here and get started for the day. I got to go get my coffee, get ready for the day. So I hope you've enjoyed the morning, and I will see you online. Don't forget, if you want a specific reading, specific tarot readings about subject, put it online and I'll get to it. And I hope everyone's having a great day. See you online. Aho.